Hi everybody, and welcome back. Dave Blinder from eXp Realty. Here we're taking a nature walk to Deerhaven Lake in Morris County, New Jersey. Deerhaven Lake lies on the borders of Rockaway Township as well as Newfoundland. The parking is via Green Pond Road. I'm happy to drop a pin for you on Google Maps if you'd like to locate the parking. Deerhaven Lake is located within the Newark Watershed's Conservation District. If you're planning any hikes in the area, you can purchase your annual hiking pass at the Newark Watershed's office on Echo Lake Road in West Milford, New Jersey. So today's hike begins on the white-blazed Four Birds Trail that runs throughout the rugged portions of Wildcat Ridge Wildlife Management Area in Rockaway Township, New Jersey. Without any further ado, let's go hit the trails and explore. I wanted to help you get your bearings straight before we hit the trails. This is Green Pond Road in front of me. Route 80 would be in that direction. And on the opposite side of the road, we see the Four Birds Trail crossing. That's the white blaze. There is parking and a small pull-off here for Deerhaven Lake. And Green Pond Road in the opposite direction will take you directly to Route 23. Pardon the car noise. So we're entering the woods right here towards Deerhaven Lake. Again, I'll show you that nice white blaze of the Four Birds Trail. We're only doing a very, very small portion of the Four Birds Trail today. And the type of terrain we should expect today is primarily flat and level, but there will be some tree roots, rocks, as well as muddy ATV ruts to deal with. So on our way in, we encounter a kiosk. It's a little clouded over, but it looks like this is a map of Split Rock Reservoir and Wildcat Ridge if you use your imagination. But I'll give you a link to more maps in the description of my video. We're only a few short steps from Green Pond Road. The trailblaze is already telling us we're taking a very sharp left here. And it looks like the Four Birds Trail will temporarily hug this old rock wall. So far, the trailblazes of the Four Birds Trail have good visibility. I haven't struggled to find any yet. However, there's not much of a trail to follow on the ground, kind of following some imaginary footprints. The leaves are just barely downtrodden here. But very bold blazes, so you can see these white markers from quite far away. Crossing another rock property wall here. Must have taken a lot of effort to move all those rocks and put them in place. At this point, we're still heading away from Green Pond Road, so thankfully the road noises are becoming lesser here. However, I do hear a neighbor's dog yipping away, which tells us we're not far from civilization. As I hinted at earlier, there are some wet trail conditions here. Looks like I'm crossing a little bit of a underground spring or a stream, whatever you want to call it here. Luckily, we have some thoughtfully placed stepping stones to get us across this portion. And now we're witnessing some of those very wet and muddy trail conditions here. So a lot of ATVs cutting through, chewing up the trail. I'm going to walk off to the left, but be careful. There are a lot of tire ruts here to sink into. Definitely not a hike for canvas shoes or anything like that. Trail surface is fairly rocky at this point. So I'm dodging rocks, tire ruts, and mud here. But I have definitely seen worse. I do think that the Four Birds Trail is a path less frequently traveled, so this is a nice quiet place where you shouldn't see all too many crowds, though the trails are blazed and appear on the larger maps like New York, New Jersey Trail Conference. Have another waterway crossing here, but there's a lot of leaves, so I'm gonna have no idea what I'm stepping on. I kind of go this way. Around the big fallen dead tree. Back to terra firma. As we push onward, following the white blaze, looks like the trail surface now is actually an old woods road, so it's a broader trail surface here. Some signs of erosion though on the old woods road. Small incline here, but not too steep. There are rocks to contend with. A lot of leaves. And I know these pudding stones, the purple ones, can be especially slick and slippery after rain with all that moss and lichen on them. Here we see the Four Birds white blaze is going to veer off from the old woods road. It has a lot of fallen dead trees on it now. Trail is just a little bit narrow here. Here we see that the White Blaze Four Birds Trail is again going to cross the old woods road. So the White Blaze is continuing up the hill that a ways. Here I'm actually going to make a left onto the broader woods road, because I know from experience that Deerhaven Lake is right near roadside at Green Pond Road, so I don't want to go too far up the hill. I think the woods road will wrap directly behind Deerhaven Lake, which should be down beyond the trees, off that way, back towards Green Pond Road. So no blazes here on the old woods road, but it's pretty easy to follow at this point. I always enjoy looking for signs of wildlife when I'm out exploring the woods. So right now, in the center of the frame on the old woods road in front of me, there's some wildlife scat. I'm going to avoid zooming in because I don't want to make you nauseous. But I think it's a good idea when you're doing any type of wildlife tracking to try to apply the principle of Occam's razor. You can Google it to read more about that. That's spelled O-C-C-A-M, razor. And I believe the way to interpret that principle is always to think of the most likely or most logical answer to your own questions to come up with a solution. And I know in our area, the most prevalent mid-sized wildlife of the woods is going to be a fox more often than not. The other mid-sized animals are also going to be coyotes and bobcats, which can be found in this area, but the fox is much more prevalent. So the scat is probably too large for a raccoon, I believe, much too small for a bear. So if we really think about Occam's razor, we could say, hey, this is most likely signs of a local fox that just passed by, though it could be a couple other types of critters as well. So I think there are many ways in life to apply that principle of Occam's razor, just thinking about logic and probability. And I can even put a link in the description if you'd like to learn a little bit more about that principle of Occam's razor. Could be a good life lesson. Off in the distance now, we are catching glimpses of Deerhaven Lake between the trees, so we know we're heading in the proper direction following the unblazed woods road. I'm still following along the old unblazed woods road, and we see evidence here that it's been periodically maintained. Like someone came in with a chainsaw and rid us of a large fallen tree on the road. There are some pretty wet conditions up ahead on the old woods road, so I'm going to kind of hug the upper left shoulder here to get out of the muck. Off to my left side now, we are walking parallel to Deerhaven Lake itself. So sooner or later today, I'm just going to kind of bushwhack in and make a direct beeline for Deerhaven Lake. I don't know that there's a formal trail that really accesses this body of water. It could be all too easy to become disoriented, panicked, or lost when there are no trailblazes or trail markers to be found. But in this situation, I know that the Old Woods Road is currently parallel to Deerhaven Lake. I also know the opposite side is parallel to Green Pond Road. So these are kind of my navigational tools of the day, or guiding stars, if you will. So taking note of your surroundings has a lot of value, will increase your comfort as you're out exploring. Like I indicated before, I don't know of any direct trail access to reach the lakeshore, and that's where I want to go. So I'm taking an unscientific method. I'm going to walk through a random clearing in the woods, walk straight down towards the lakeshore. But it's important to remember, I've taken mental notes of exactly where the Woods Road lie as well as Green Pond Road, so I can take either method to return back to my car after I explore the lake. After a short bushwhack down off of the Woods Road, we've arrived at the shoreline of Deerhaven Lake. So Deerhaven Lake is a beautiful natural body of water with a lot of wildlife. So this particular excursion is best suited for bird watchers, wildlife enthusiasts, landscape photographers, those who don't mind getting their feet muddy, as we're definitely off the beaten track here at Deerhaven Lake. But a lot of natural beauty to take in out here, a lot of wildlife as well. Here's an additional view of Deerhaven Lake before I make my way back towards the Woods Road. All in all, the wild denizens of the woods and water have been pretty quiet today, though I saw a few wood ducks. There are also mute swans out on Deerhaven Lake today, and I'm hearing a few spring peepers despite it being well into November. So again, you have to be pretty adventurous to make it down to the shoreline here at Deerhaven Lake. It's very marshy over here. There's not a trail system to be found on this shore. And I'm basically standing kind of in the muck with my waterproof boots on. I've made my way back to the main woods road, and I'm now heading back to the White Blaze Four Birds Trail, returning towards my car. It was a nice visit today to the scenic, natural and wild Deerhaven Lake. For any of you folks who are more adventurous, you could continue the opposite way beyond Deerhaven Lake, further exploring the woods here. But again, a reminder, you need to buy the annual hiking permit from the Newark Watershed office to explore these lands. I do think it's a good idea to check the weather forecast before you head out. I see that there's a 100% chance of heavy rain this afternoon today in Morris County, New Jersey. So I don't want to be caught too far out in the woods, so I'm making haste back towards my car on Green Pond Road. After a pleasant, uneventful walk back on the Woods Road, we're back at the juncture of the White Blaze Four Birds Trail. We should be heading off left and ascending the hill. So I'm going to continue veering right on the Four Birds Trail back towards my car. I now hear and see Green Pond Road ahead of me. That means my car is only a short walk away. I've also beat today's rain, so that makes today's journey to Deerhaven Lake a success. If you'd like to plan your bushwhacking hike into Deerhaven Lake, you can click on the Google Maps link in the description. I'm also providing a link with information to get your hiking permit from the Newark Watershed office. It's a great organization to support. If you have any questions on New Jersey parks, New Jersey living, or New Jersey real estate, let me know. If you have the opportunity to like, subscribe, and share my content, that really helps me out. Thanks, and I'll see you in my next video.